Hello everyone, welcome to my channel English with Visali. Today we will discuss about third sem BCA, the trial for murder by Charles Dickens. 5 marks questions and 10 marks questions. So both are in same video. Today we will discuss about question and answers of 5 marks and 10 marks. First 5 marks questions and answers. What is the central idea of the story, The Trial for Murder? The central idea of the trial for murder is the triumph of truth and justice over deceit and lies. The story revolves around a juror who experiences supernatural visions during a murder trial. He sees the ghost of the murdered man standing beside the accused, silently urging him to reveal the truth. Although others cannot see the ghost, the juror realizes that divine power is guiding him to deliver true justice. Through this story, Dickens shows that human justice systems can be weak and biased, but moral truth and conscience are powerful forces that ensure justice in the end. The story blends supernatural mystery with a deep moral lesson about honesty, responsibility, and the unseen power of truth. So, here we are having key points. Truth always wins over lies. The ghost represents divine justice. The juror is guided by conscience. Dickens criticizes the flaws of human law. Justice triumphs in the end. Next question. How does Dickens use the supernatural element in the story? In the trial for murder, Charles Dickens uses the supernatural element through the appearance of the murdered man's ghost. The ghost appears only to the narrator, a juror in the trial, and silently guides him toward the truth. It reacts to lies and deceptions in the courtroom with expressive gestures. The ghost presence gives the story a mysterious and spiritual tone. Dickens uses this element not to frighten the reader but to show that unseen forces of justice exist. It symbolizes that even when human systems fail, moral or divine justice will prevail. Here key points. Ghost represents truth and justice, adds mystery and moral depth, shows divine power over human law, used symbolically not for fear, connects realism and spirituality. Third question. How does the narrator react to the ghostly presence during the trial? At first, the narrator is shocked and confused when he sees the ghost beside the accused. He doubts his own senses and tries to ignore it. But as the trial continues, he notices that the ghost reacts to every false statement made in court. Slowly, the narrator realizes that the spirit wants him to ensure justice. He becomes more confident and determined to see that the guilty man is punished. Even though he feels fear, he takes his responsibility seriously. His moral courage and belief in truth help him guide the jury to deliver the right verdict. Key points. Shocked at first by the ghost presence, realizes its purpose is to guide justice, gains courage and confidence, acts responsibly as a juror, helps ensure a just verdict. Next question. What message does Charles Dickens convey through this story? Charles Dickens conveys the message that truth and justice cannot be hidden forever. Even if people lie, cheat, or try to manipulate the law, the truth will find its way to light, sometimes through moral conscience or divine intervention. He also highlights the limitations of the human legal system, where judgments can be influenced by false evidence and clever arguments. The story teaches that honesty, morality, and conscience are stronger than corruption. Dickens urges readers to believe in justice and humanity. Key points: truth and justice always win, exposes flaws in the legal system, promotes honesty and moral courage, encourages faith in divine justice, teaches importance of conscience. Next question: how does the story end and what is its significance? The story ends when the jury, led by the narrator, declares the accused man guilty. As soon as the verdict is given, the murderer collapses in fear and the ghost of the murdered man disappears, its mission fulfilled. This ending is significant because it shows that moral justice has been achieved. The ghost disappearance represents peace and closure. Dickens uses the supernatural conclusion to emphasize that even when humans fail, a higher power ensures that truth prevails. Key points: verdict, murdered found guilty, ghost disappears, justice done, symbol of peace and truth, supernatural justice prevails, reinforces moral messages. So here we are having 10 mark question and answers. First one: narrate the story of the trial for murder in detail. The Trial for Murder is a short story by Charles Dickens that mixes crime, courtroom drama, and the supernatural. The narrator, who serves as a juror, is chosen for a murder trial. From the start, he feels that something strange surrounds the case. During the trial, he sees the ghost of the murdered man standing next to the accused, silently pointing at him. The ghost reacts with expressions of anger when witnesses lie and appears calm when truth is spoken. The narrator realizes that he has been chosen to see the ghost so that justice can be done. Throughout the trial, he feels a mix of fear and moral responsibility. The accused becomes uneasy as if he feels the ghost presence. When it's time for the verdict, the narrator strongly argues that the man is guilty, and finally the jury agrees. As soon as the guilty verdict is announced, the murder collapses and the ghost disappears, its mission fulfilled. The narrator understands that divine justice has acted through him to punish the wrongdoer. Dickens ends the story showing that truth may sometimes need supernatural help to be revealed. Key points: a juror sees ghost of murdered man, ghost guides him toward justice, lies exposed during trial, verdict guilty, justice served, ghost disappears, truth wins. Next question: describe how Dickens shows the relationship between science and the supernatural. In this story, Dickens connects science and the supernatural through the courtroom setting, which represents logic, facts, and evidence. The symbols of science. Amid this atmosphere of reason, the narrator experiences something that science cannot explain: the appearance of a ghost. Dickens suggests that science and logic are important but limited. There are certain truths that cannot be proved with evidence alone. They require belief, conscience, or spiritual insight. The ghost acts as a bridge between these two worlds. Through the narrator's experiences, Dickens teaches that while science deals with facts, morality and truth belong to the spirit. Real justice often needs both rational thinking and moral feeling to be complete. So, key points: science, courtroom logic, supernatural, ghostly justice show limits of scientific proof. Conscience is beyond science, both reason and morality needed. Third question: what makes the trial for murder emotionally powerful? The story's emotional power comes from its mix of fear, justice, and moral victory. Dickens creates a deep connection between the reader and the narrator's feelings. The ghost's silent presence adds tension and suspense. Readers feel the narrator's fear and his courage as he faces the supernatural to defend truth. The emotional strength also lies in the contrast between the living and the dead. The murdered man's soul returns for justice, while the living murderer trembles in guilt. The ending, where justice is done and the ghost disappears, gives satisfaction and relief. Dickens' writing style, blending mystery and morality, touches readers' hearts because it shows how truth and goodness triumph when even against impossible odds. Key points: fear and suspense build emotion, courage of the narrator inspires, ghost symbolizes moral strength, contrast truth versus guilt, satisfying just ending. Next question: how does Dickens criticize the justice system in the story? Dickens uses the trial for murder to criticize the weaknesses in the justice system. He shows how court cases can be filled with lies, manipulation, and corruption, where truth often gets hidden behind false witnesses and clever arguments. The fact that the narrator needs a ghost to reveal the truth shows how unreliable human judgment can be. Dickens implies that lawyers and judges sometimes fail to see the moral side of case. He argues that conscience and moral awareness are as important as facts and evidence. True justice comes not only from law books but from humanity, compassion, and honesty. Key points: courts can be corrupt and biased, truth hidden by false evidence, ghost exposes moral weakness, justice needs humanity, Dickens promotes moral conscience. So this is what 5 marks and 10 marks questions. So please, thank you. Please like, share, subscribe my channel.